Good morning, good evening, and good afternoon. It is Spirit of Paradox here, and welcome back to another video. And today we are going to be doing the Ultimate issue number 9, and we get to see the debut of Ultimate Luke Cage. And personally, I was very disappointed with this issue. Every time I read this book, I kept getting a headache because of the amount of time skips throughout this book. But we'll get into it. If you guys are fans of the Ultimate Universe, this is the channel you want to be on. We cover the original and the new here on the channel, so make sure you drop a like and subscribe. Let's begin. The story begins in February of 2005 in Seagate Penitentiary. And here we see a 15-year-old Luke Cage who's just been locked up. 1 year to life? But I'm only 15. It's actually very progressive. You could be out as soon as 1 year. Previously, this would have been a mandatory 5-year sentence. But I don't even know what I'm convicted of. Well, neither do I. But convicted you were. It was an administrative trial. I don't really know the details. I'm not a lawyer. But, look. I don't want to get into the whole discussion about it, okay? I'm just here to let you know what's happening. Carl Lucas, or Lucas Cage. You're going away for a while. Don't look so glum. It's only 1 year. You'll be out before you know it. And boy, was he wrong. In the next page, we actually see a time jump where we go to February of 2025, Gordium Correctional Facility, and we see a much older Luke Cage being brought to this new prison. Lucas Cage, welcome to Gordium Correctional Facility, a Midas Group penitentiary specializing in the for-profit for prison space. And the warden lets him know, just a reminder, your global citizenship has been officially revoked. Inside these walls, you do not have rights of any kind. Obey the guards, follow the rules, stay out of trouble, and there will be no problems. Midas is proud to keep costs down and our community safe. We hope your stay will be productive. Hey, did you hear about this riot in New Brunswick? They're trying to keep it hush-hush, but I heard the inmates are still in control of the facility. God, that's the second facility this year. In the next page, we go back to February 2006 in the Seagate Penitentiary, and we see Luke Cage within his first year in prison, constantly getting beaten up by guards when he's just out in the gym working out. Beatings in his first year in prison was very common, and you can tell by the length of his hair change throughout this page. He even starts growing an afro as well. As we return to present day, we see that Luke Cage has spotted a prisoner with a knife and he was about to use it. Luke punches this guy in the face and saves, basically, Danny Rand of the new Ultimate Universe. He had a knife. Luke Cage. Danny Rand, as they both shake hands together. Do I know you from somewhere? Ever do time in Seagate? I've done time all over, says Luke. But what about this? Honestly, I have no idea. In this place, it's easy to offend someone without meaning or even knowing. Listen, man, thanks for the help, but word of advice from someone who's been in here for a while? Mind your business and watch your own back, because no one's gonna watch it for you. And Luke Cage smiles and tells him, not my style. In the next page we go back to 2010 and we see Luke Cage in his cell not doing anything wrong and is actually just reading books, while guards constantly come back and beat on him over and over again. And the thing is, he keeps on taking these beatings and he doesn't even have his powers yet. As we return to present day, we hear the warden in the new prison of the Gordium Correctional Facility speak on the microphone. Here at Gordium, we are innovating our way to a better tomorrow. One of Midas' many innovations in the panel space is our mandatory worker employment program. And Luke Cage overhears this and says, "What is happening here is modern day slavery, nothing less." The warden continues and says, "Inmates have a chance to learn useful skills, and Midas subsidiaries have access to an almost inexhaustible pool of labor. The Midas way is the right way." And Luke tells Danny, "Slavery is social death. It is to be forever cut off from your context and community. It is to have never been born. They have made us non-people explicitly. They say it's about justice. They say it's about law and not about any of the other crap." And Danny asks, "So, what's it all about?" "It's about power," says Luke. As we move forward into the story, we actually go back to February 2014 in the Seagate prison. And here we see Luke Cage is being harassed and beat down on by some prison guards. "We hear you're a real go-getter, Cage, forming your own prison gang." "It's just reading," he says, and before Luke could finish his sentence, the guards beat down on him some more. "You're a real troublemaker, a dangerous element. It's in your file. It's been in your file since you were born," and they continue to beat down on him even more so. Stupid convicts. They never learn. As they walk away, with Luke basically being knocked out on the floor, bleeding out. Yet again, another time skip to present day, and here we see Luke goes on a speech here, as one of the inmates gets beat down on by guards. "There are no good pigs. It doesn't matter what your skin color or what god you worship. The only distinction that matters in here is the distinction between the pigs and the prisoners, the guards and the inmates, us and them. The guards are our only enemies here. Our most immediate struggle is with them, and through them, the unjust system they uphold. We struggle for nothing more and nothing less than control over our own lives. If we are to succeed in our struggle, you'll have to fight for the life of the man next to you, as if he was your own. Which is it? Believe me, if they come for him in the morning, they'll come for you at night." We go back 1 year and 1 month to January 2024 in the Seagate Infirmary. How many times does that make in the infirmary for Cage since he got here? And we see this blue lightning emitting from one of the cages. I lost count. He must have broke every bone in his body a dozen times by now. And then we see Luke Cage all battered and bruised, but we see this blue electricity come towards him in his cell. They say he's unbreakable. No one's unbreakable. And we see the cube from Ultimate Iron Lad has arrived to give him his powers. I don't really like that. It kinda feels a little lazy in my opinion, but let me know what you guys think. As we return to present day, Luke goes on a speech and says, "The people wither away inside these walls, or outside and have no control over their lives. But first, We take control of this facility and then our future. The difference between the inside and the outside is one of maximum security and minimum. Weak points here, here, and here. The system cannot stand. The world can no longer afford it. It never could. It cannot be reformed because the system resists reform. So it must be transformed in a revolutionary sense. We must take back power for the people, many of whom will be at first afraid of us, but that's okay. We go tomorrow. We're going to scare them not to death, but to life. And yet again, another bloody time skip. And here is the very moment on when Luke Cage gets his abilities. So the box that teleported in his cell basically opens up to a hologram and a silver orb. And the hologram is of Ultimate Iron Lad, saying, "Luke Cage, this is for you. Ionic catalyst that will allow you to gain unbreakable skin and unbelievable strength. Exercise in creating a society that could be perfectly directed and controlled. Together, we will free the world." They stole your future, robbed you of your destiny. Do you want it back? Asks Iron Lad, as we see that Luke Cage activated the catalyst, giving him unbreakable skin and increased strength. And so, we return to present day, and we see that the prison break didn't go so well. A prison break? You thought you could hide a prison break from us? You can't trust criminals. If any of you could be trusted, you wouldn't be criminals now, would ya? See, it's just in your nature. That's why you're in here. Just because you break a law doesn't make you a criminal. And you don't have to break a law to be a criminal. A criminal is just something you are. Something you were. See? In cases like this, attempted escapes, failed riots, it's strict Midas policy to use lethal force to discourage any recidivism. I wouldn't be doing my job if I didn't fill you with holes, convict. But I'll tell you what, I am not ashamed to say it. I love my job. The guards aim their weapons at Luke and open fire, emptying basically their whole clips into him, and then they find out none of those bullets could do any damage to him whatsoever. And Luke tells the guards, "All right, gentlemen, we're taking over now." And yet again, another time jump. We go to 1 year prior, and we get to see how Luke Cage broke out of Seagate Penitentiary and took it over. We see Luke Cage basically punch a wall down right after when he got his abilities granted to him. He tells the guards, "We are taking Seagate and we are taking the prison. All power to the people. All power to the people," as we see all the inmates breaking out of prison and fighting their way out. And as we return to present day, we can see that history is repeating itself a year later. "He just flexed and broke all their chains," one of the guards shouts, as we see Luke Cage literally flex and bust out of the chains, and then basically punches the ground and sends the guards flying. And then he tells them, "Follow the plan. All power to the people. All power to the people," yet again. In June of 2024, in the Seagate Penitentiary, after some time Luke Cage has taken over the prison, we can see that other people were there, including a character that actually looks like Mystique. But the thing is, Ultimate Iron Lad turns up and tells him, "Congratulations on taking the prisoners and freeing yourselves, Mr. Cage. and welcome to the Ultimate. You're one of the very few first generation who worked out. We can get you out of here. But Luke tells Iron Lad, actually, I think I can do more good inside than out. I don't understand, after all you've endured. Because all I've endured, I know. I can't get free until everybody's free, says Luke. Welcome to the new Bushwick Correctional, a Midas Group facility. And as we return to present day, we see that Luke Cage has successfully taken over the new prison, with the new moniker shouting, "All power to the people," with all of the inmates are now free. In the next page we go to the Triskelion, and here we see Ultimate She-Hulk basically empty her heart out to Ultimate Iron Lad while he's recovering after being murdered by Soy Boy Hulk. And she tells him, "Doom says you cannot hear me, that I only waste my breath. But there is no one else to talk to, and Doom doesn't know everything. I wanted to tell you, whatever you are feeling, Tony, whatever pain, whatever torment, whatever desire to escape, stay strong. It will pass. I know, when I began my transformation, I spent weeks listening to my bones break and reform, my flesh tear itself apart and grow back again and again. I threw up my own lungs, felt new organs regrow, and rearrange themselves inside me. My belly was a pit of snakes and agony. I know pain. I know fear. I know that a part of you wishes to give up. There was a part of me too. But you cannot, Tony. What brought me back was a promise. I must return to my people, Tony. They need me. I need you. This is why you cannot die. Do you understand? You made me a promise. You made us all a promise. And I know you will keep it, says She-Hulk. And then she leaves the room. But the thing is, we get closer and closer to the window into Tony's iron lung, and then we see that he finally wakes up, with only 9 months remaining until the Maker returns. And that is where Ultimate issue number 9 ends. So that was Ultimate issue number 9, and I did not like this issue at all. In fact, I was actually looking forward to this one because I think Luke Cage, though he's not one of my most favorite characters, but I think Luke Cage is a cool character. I enjoyed watching his Netflix show back in the day and that, but honestly for this issue too, for me to get introduced to a new version of the character, I was just left disappointed. First of all was the constant time jumps between every issue of this comic. I kept getting a headache. It gave me a migraine reading this book because of how many times we keep going back and forth through time, and it just, it wasn't for me personally. Then the character of Ultimate Luke Cage, he's nothing special. That the whole issue was nothing special. Like his origin, nothing special. He didn't earn his origin. He was just locked up because the Maker probably had him on the list somewhere and knew who he was in the main Marvel and in his own universe. Had basically locked him up when he was a child, but even that didn't work. Like, honestly, I would have just killed him altogether if I was the Maker. I wouldn't even lock up most of my enemies, but anywho. So when it came down to that, personally, I just wasn't a big fan of just how this new iteration of the character was. Stereotype after stereotype. It was just, I've seen this before. yeah, he became Luke Cage by getting, or Power Man by getting his powers. I mean, that's Luke Cage, obviously, but like big black man being beat up in prison, it's like I've seen this, heard this 1,000 times. So, yeah, we did get to see Danny Rand in this issue, so I am happy to see him. I'm happy that he's not dead, because hopefully he can take his powers back from Soy Boy Hulk. Like, can we actually just get rid of Soy Boy Hulk and bring back the original, please? But yeah, Danny Rand, that's good to see. We might see Heroes for Hire, or we might even see Danny Rand join the Ultimates and become somebody else, and because mantle swaps galore. You know, so we see that Luke Cage is a member of the Ultimates. I think he will be a good matchup to fight Hulk. But it's a wait and see thing. So overall, I did not like this issue. Honestly, I don't really recommend it to anybody. But yeah, it was just more of a headache to read than anything to enjoy. So next issue, we do have the Red Skull Gang, so that's gonna be cool, because apparently Shang-Chi in this universe is the Punisher, and I'm like, why? I don't know, but that's what I heard through social media, but not through Dennis Camp himself. But we'll have to wait and see, innit? But overall, I wasn't a fan of this issue, and I'd just say skip. But let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Did you enjoy it? Did you not? You know what to do in the comment. Make sure you drop a like and subscribe, and I will see you in the next one. Take care.